So it's just, constantly on the edge, inches from death and time loss for the speedrun. And that's what makes it pretty exciting.
Does the world tendency element have anything to do with the run? Because that was probably my favorite aspect of what Demon Souls had, is the more you die or do good things, it kind of changes the factor of the world.
Yeah, actually, if you die, it punishes you. His health bar right now is longer than the other bars, but if you die, then your health bar is basically half as full. And so dying actually punishes you. There is an item to get it back to full, but I don't know whether or not they're going to use that in this run. But the story is this character right now is alive and their health bar is full, and if they die, kind of their ghost, so to speak, their spirit kind of runs around and comes back, but it has less health as a player. Oh, by the way, if you want to play this game, Demon Souls, it's a PS3 exclusive, and here we got the first boss.
Good fight.
Yeah. Excellent technique. So that's an intentional death. And see, now he's kind of like a spirit, and you see his health bar is halfway down now. But if you do want to play it, then you should give it a shot before February 28th of next year, because that is when they're going to shut down the server. And so you can still play the game, but you won't get any of the kind of online functionality where you kind of get other player interaction, which is one of the big draws to the Souls series. So if you do want to play this one, then definitely do it in the next 8 weeks or so. But this is the glitches category. It is 5 to 10 minutes slower than the glitch category. All the boss fights, etc., have the same technique, in essence. Now, he's probably going to do the evil ending because it's faster than the good ending by just a little bit. The first world that he does is required, but other than that, you always go to a hub world or a hub zone, and then pick the next world that you want to go to. And there's a certain order that he wants to go, because it'll be a little bit easier and you'll get a comparatively large amount of souls early on. Healing up there, just for safety. A lot of this game is running around and making sure that you don't get hit by anything, because fighting things takes time, and we don't want to take time. We want to get to the end of the game as quick as possible.
Do we know who's restreaming? Seems like we're ahead of what they're getting.
I do not know who's restreaming. Is there something that we should do at this point, or just keep going?
Nah, just keep going. I'll ping out on Discord.
Okay. Most of the game is running optimally, not getting hit by anything, and beating the bosses as quickly as possible. That rolling is probably the most effective technique in the entire game, because while you're rolling, you're completely invincible to any damage. Even if you're poisoned or have the plague status, you will not take any damage during the roll. You're totally invincible. So a lot of what you'll see is he'll run around and not deplete the stamina bar completely, usually. Part of that is so that he has enough stamina to do a roll if he needs to. And the other part is that the stamina bar charges up faster if it's not totally full. Or if it's not totally empty, excuse me. Knowing the enemy patterns is really important, but there's still... You can try to influence what they do, and they'll tend to do the same thing every time, but there is a little bit of randomness that accompanies them. Skipping the stairs here, doing some drops, not dying, importantly.
Now, parrying and backstabbing is kind of a big thing in this series. Does that play a pretty big effect for some of these things here, or as far as non-bosses, do they just skip most of it?
They just skip non-bosses. There's no, as far as I know, there's no parrying or backstabbing in this. Oh no, getting hit. Because the bosses mostly can't be parried or backstabbed. Getting close to dead here. Now, this boss is weak to fire, so they infused their weapon with fire specifically for this boss, which is an amorphous blob creature. A little gross, but perhaps misunderstood.
Yeah, this is a boss that I had some friends that they would get here like the boss is really easy, but it took me forever to get through there, and I didn't want to keep playing the game. It was too hard. This game had a whole lot of people just getting upset at the difficulty, but I enjoy very difficult games and games that take trial and error and thinking, so I really appreciated the series.
Yeah, this is definitely not for everybody. But if you like a challenge and you like this type of gameplay, it's definitely worth playing. This is a PS3 exclusive, so if you don't have a PS3, you could also play Dark Souls 3, which is basically the same game as this one. I mean, the differences are so negligible that I don't know. I can't pick out any really serious differences between the two that make the experience different. There are differences, but the experience of playing it is the same pretty much.
Fall damage is much more forgiving in this than what I remember.
Yeah, no, it's falling is any place that he can fall, he will fall. This is a lot faster than walking, and the damage is not significant. Like you saw right there, he barely took any damage. And that was the hub world. Now he's going to the first area. Or I guess the first required area. He could choose where to go from this point. Oh, there you go. He did the parry, like you were saying.
I believe this is and for the game's canon, I believe this is considered World 4.
I think you're right. Wow, I said that he doesn't do parrying or backstabbing, and he immediately does parrying and backstabbing.
Well, you got to level up somewhere.
Right. Oh, you know what it is? Is that in the glitched version, they do an item duplication glitch, and they throw fireball things at these skeletons a bunch. But since he doesn't have it, he's got to kill them the old-fashioned way. Just stab him in the back.
Do you know, is there much RNG as far as if they're expecting certain drops at all?
No, there's not. There's no... Any of the items that he wants to get are in the exact place at the exact time. So there's no RNG in terms of drops in this game. And the amount of souls you get is exact too. So they know, if I kill this enemy, I'm going to get this amount of souls. There we go, another drop shortcut.
Little crystal lizard there. That was the bane for some people in trying to go for trophies. Those are rare spawns, and I believe in almost every case you kill them, and they don't show up for the rest of the playthrough.
Yeah.
I don't imagine they need to kill any of them for the run.
No, and he is not going to pick up any weapons or anything in this run. He got one already that, I guess he picked one up that is a sword that scales with your magic stat. And magic is how he's going to beat this game quickly. And he doesn't even really hit anything with the sword anyway. Anything hitting with the sword is for a small amount of damage or to stagger an opponent so he can get by them. This boss is called the Adjudicator. This is in Japanese, so you can't see the name, but it's the Adjudicator, and if you have ranged, he's trivial, and if you don't, then you've got to do a couple things to knock him down so that you can hit his weak spot. But you saw here, he just threw fireballs at his face until he died. And he gives a decent amount of souls early on in the game, because you're not supposed to be here, right? I mean, supposed to. You're not supposed to be here right now, or at least it's not intended to do it in this order. But now he's got the sword he wants, and I think he'll pick up a couple of accessories, and then besides that, he'll get some magic spells, and that's all he really needs to defeat the game. Just now, he boosted his magic stat a lot. Because the speedrun strategy for this is have a high magic stat, get powerful spells, beat bosses with it. In later Souls games, the spells are not as powerful, but in this one they're pretty strong.
This is the creepiest area in the game, with all the screams and just the whole environment. I wasn't a huge fan of this entire area.
Those tentacly octopus head monster lantern people are creepy, like super creepy. Have you played any of the other Souls games besides this one?
I have played this and the first two Dark Souls.
Okay, gotcha. I've only played Dark Souls 3, and it was good. It was pretty good. It's an enjoyable experience. Tough though.
Oh yeah, I think Demon Souls was my favorite. Just I feel it was more of a challenge, but I felt Dark Souls was probably the best of the three that I played. Just overall, just a really rich experience for a game like this.
Right.
And with the online component, I'm curious if anyone was ever doing a run with this and they kept the online on, and when you get to the end of this section, another player can actually take control of the final boss, and you have to fight them. And I'm wondering if anyone's ever done a run and left the online on and ended up having to fight somebody.
That'd be pretty funny. You think it'd be a double-edged sword. If they were really bad, you could defeat them quicker than you could defeat the AI. But if they were really good, then your run's over. I'm pretty sure they switch it off for consistency, though. So here's a precise drop onto a rail. He's going to do another one.
Oh, nice. For what I remember, that skips a lot of time because there's a lot of stuff there.
Oh, nice. Nicely done. But he fell off, so he's got to reload this. He was supposed to fall down twice, not 3 times into the pit. But he gets to try again pretty quickly.
Reloading the save, does it reload the game to like the last point that you were on solid ground?
I'm not sure. It doesn't. The game autosaves in specific places. So it's in some stages, if you die, you're not going to appear where you died. You'll appear way at the start of that stage. Now here he should be picking up the... He should have picked up the Clever Rat's Ring, and he's putting it on right now. Now, Clever Rat's Ring is an important item because if you're below 1/3 health, then you'll do 50% more damage with everything you do, like physical, magical, all that stuff. So for most of the rest of this run, he's going to keep his health really low so that he gets that extra damage boost. And if anybody's played this game before, you know how hard this game is and how punishing it is. If anything hits him right now, he'll probably die and lose a lot of time. But in general, that seems to be a pretty widely used strat in a lot of speed running. Is you kind of get a few items that make you sort of a glass cannon, and then you run through the game doing your best not to get hit and killing everything super quickly.
Yeah, I think it's one of the things that makes this series of games a really interesting run to watch is there is just virtually no margin for error in most of what you do.
Oh, and there you see he lost a little bit of health. You can tell he's got the Clever Rat's Ring status on because there's a little rat that appears below his stamina bar. So it's active right now. He wants to kill this boss super quickly because if he doesn't, she'll start teleporting around the room, and that will not be good. Nice. Nicely done.
Yeah, I remember that boss is one of the most annoying in the entire game. I think she will replicate, and as she goes around the room, and it's not a fun time.
Yeah, she replicates, she lays traps, she warps. This game does not care how hard of a time you're having. I think in this stage, there's a lot of running around. The boss is at the end, but you have to activate a few triggers to get to it. It's just kind of a big tower.
Yeah, this one is mostly platforms, and I think probably one of the more infamous bosses from at least the earlier parts of the series for who this boss is. And watching people playing it for the first time, the little surprise the boss has for you about half health is rage-inducing if you're not having an easy time with them.
If you're watching this and you haven't played any of the Souls games or Bloodborne, I include Bloodborne in that series, but you don't have to. If you haven't played any of the Souls games, try one out if you can and see if you like it. It's tough, but you kind of get used to it, and it can be really fun. You will die a lot, though, and hopefully he won't. Little strategy there. He traps the gargoyle under the elevator so he doesn't have to deal with it. I believe this is the second kind of trigger that he has to get to open up the boss.
This game, I forgot, it's so quiet at times. And there's very little music in a lot of it.
Yeah, some of the boss fights have some really great music, but otherwise it's very somber. But I feel like that makes it more intense. So you see, he got in that little elevator, ran back out, and then jumped on top of it so that he didn't have to wait for it to go all the way to the bottom and open. He could just jump on top of it and then leap off early. It saves a little bit of time.
Do the fog gates act as anything really functional other than just a door you have to open? Do they have any effect on loading or anything special? I never really noticed.
I think so. I think certain things don't. I mean, well, especially boss rooms, you have to go through the fog, and the boss doesn't load unless you go through it. So in that sense, yes, it separates areas for loading. I know that in Dark Souls 3, at least, if you have a helper with you, helpers can't just go through fog doors. Only the main player can go through the fog door.
And we saw an enemy just a moment ago. It was kind of had a red gleam around it. I believe those are just called red phantom versions of the enemies, and they are higher stats and much more dangerous versions than their counterparts.
Right, right. If there were a player in this game, if this was online and there were another player in this game, they would look like that. If they were an enemy player and they invaded your game and were trying to get you, they'd have a red outline. But I'm pretty sure this is offline and he's not trying to risk anything here.
And someone in the chat asked about world tendency. I had mentioned it earlier. From my understanding of it, it's if you help NPCs, or I think when you beat a boss, you go further towards good world tendency, and whenever you die or kill an NPC, you go further towards dark world tendency. And the dark world tendency, I believe it gets harder, but you get higher drops. And light world tendency is things are easier, but you have less drops. But also certain events will only happen depending on how deep your world tendency is, light or dark. Now, that could be a complete guess. This is like an 8-year-old memory on that for me.
On that bridge just now, he had to hit that little spider creature. He can't get around it unless he hits it and staggers it. From here on out, a lot of the... Well, I mean, it depends, but a lot of the sword is used to just hit things once so that he can get past them if he uses it. Anything he doesn't have to kill, he won't kill.
Man, there are a lot of staircases in this stage.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of Shadow of the Colossus or Metal Gear Solid, where there's just sections where there's just a really long staircase and you just run up it, and that's the game.
I believe he's close to the gargoyles because again, 8-year-old memory, but I remember that red Phantom Medusa. I think that thing killed me a couple of times.
Yeah, no, that's where he should be right now, past this door. Yep, here's the bridge, here's the gargoyles. But there's one, and when he gets close to killing it, another one will appear. So he'll want to make sure that he finishes it off so there's not two at a time. But again, he's at 1/3 health, or he's below 1/3 health, so that he gets extra damage output from all of his sources of damage. And he can't get hit or he'll die. In a single hit, he'll die. So knowing the boss pattern and adjusting to it and making sure you don't get hit is essential. Okay, the second one showed up, but he managed to kill the first one. So he only has to fight one at a time. They've been pretty nice so far. They can just fly away and waste time, but so far they've been sticking around. I love how these guys looks though. Just the green glow coming out of their eyes and mouth.
Yeah, they definitely have a very interesting look here. I know when you fight them in Dark Souls, they have a much more traditional gargoyle look to them. These, I don't know, kind of seem like monkey demons.
Nice. Wow, that boss was very nice to him. They didn't fly away. They didn't waste any time. So, that was good. Good fight.
And this place here is the shortest stage in the game. Each area generally has a decent section after each boss, but this is just a quick staircase.
Right. And at the top of this one, I believe, is the monk you were talking about earlier, to where if you're online, it'll be actually a player. So yeah, he wouldn't kill these enemies if he didn't have to, but he can't get by them. He tried to hit that one just once and get by them, but he couldn't squeeze past. The freaking Gandalf octopus lantern person.
And when this boss, I love the hat. Yeah, you can get it and use it, and I think it's the best cosmetic item in the game.
Certainly got a style. If you play this game before February... Oh no!
And we have a death.
Just like that. Well, fortunately, this is a short climb up a staircase. If he were going to die somewhere, this is the perfect place to do it. Anywhere else and he'd be wasting a lot more time, but here he just has to get past Octopus Head. What's the name of that enemy?
Oh, I'm not sure. There's someone in chat may know. Medusa seems like it would work, but I know it's not.
Oh, so check this out. You see how low his health is? So the rat's ring won't activate unless your health is below a third. Well, since he died, his maximum health is much lower. So now the health that he has to have for that to activate has to be much lower as well. Again, this game, if you die, it just punishes you.
Regaining a soul there, that's like, think of Diablo recovering your body. Just getting what you dropped when you died. You drop your souls. So, pretty important to get those back.
Okay, Mind Flayer. Someone in the chat says they're called Mind Flayers.
And there we go, taken care of.
That's good. Just got unlucky the first time. Now, I believe at this point he should be leveling up. He's got these, so you have souls that you're just kind of hanging on to, and then you can get souls as items. If you die, the souls that you're hanging on to, you'll drop, but the souls as items will not. So having them as items is a safe way to not lose souls in case you're going to die. So just now he didn't give them up until right when he was about to use them. And just now he's increased his magic stat, so his magic stat should be super powerful. And pretty soon he'll be getting the spells that he needs. And that's what'll sort of make him a glass cannon.
I find it pretty amazing that the estimate for this is an hour and it's glitchless, but that was only the first demon that he killed, and we have 5 worlds to go through, plus the short ending area.
Yeah, that's a really good point. The rest of them should fall pretty quickly, as up till now he's been relying on this sword to do his damage, but after he gets the spells, most of the bosses he'll be able to kill in 1 or 2 hits. But yeah, it is a little surprising. I didn't realize this was kind of how it went timing-wise. I guess he's half done now.
Yeah, it's interesting seeing in a lot of speedruns, particularly ones that, like for me, I never speedrunning this game, and it's been a while, and I remember how long it took to go through it. And then seeing the run of it and thinking, man, he has a lot of game left. How is it going to get done so quickly? Knowing the tricks is a very, very neat thing to start seeing when you haven't seen the run before. And then, of course, in true RPG fashion, we got all the stuff that we needed from this NPC. Don't need him no more, so he can die.
They want a ring from him, and he would give it to you, but or you could get it from him, but it's faster just to kill him and take it. Now that he has these spells, the most important of which are Cloak, Soul Ray, and Homing Soul Arrow. Homing Soul Arrow particularly. He'll just melt bosses now.
I'm really interested to see what he's going to do on this boss. I remember the strat for this for me back in the day was, I think, sit in the very back of the room with the shield up and then like shoot the bow.
I believe that's the backup strat.
I feel it probably took a little bit longer than it's going to take him.
A lot of really narrow corridors in this one. Invincibility roll! It's nice. If you're not used to the Souls games, get used to somebody rolling straight through a giant sword slash, or arrows, or traps, etc.
Yeah, this stage was a lot faster than what I remember. Oh, no, that's not the boss.
Is this the, oh no, this is just another area.
Yeah. I think it's the second area in this one that's just a pitfall. Wow, that was very calculated.
Well, he's got the rat status effect now. Oh no, he got rid of it. He's healed up. As everyone knows, one of the most fun things to do in this series is just roll through crates and chairs and wooden things just to break them. Pots. I've definitely just stopped playing to break every breakable object in a room before.
Sometimes you just got to take your frustrations out.
Right. I just died 5 times to a rat.
And one thing that this series can really do is aggravate you by having you die to something that in other games may just seem very simple. Like, rats can be very annoying in this.
Yeah, the biggest danger, I would say, in the Souls series is if you get locked into being hit by a lot of different enemies all at once. Here we go. Armored Spider. Here's the Homing Soul Arrow. You see how much damage that does?
That's certainly faster than the way I did this.
Yeah, that's nuts. If he'd had the rat status on, it'd killed him probably in 1 hit. Get the lizard! Nah, he doesn't care about the lizard. Oh, by the way, he has Cloak on right now. If you didn't catch it, it's one of the important spells that he got. It allows him to run by a lot of enemies who won't notice him. Doesn't work on everything, but it is used in certain areas that would otherwise be really annoying and or hard or impossible even. And say, looks like he's just barely above that 1/3 health. Unless he took the ring off, I didn't see.
Yeah, I don't know if he did or not. And this is Flame Lurker, one of the prettiest bosses in the game.
Okay, yeah, he's standing in that lava so that he takes a little bit of damage so he can get the status effect that gives him 50% more damage. Since he has Cloak on, the boss, really hard of seeing. Just didn't notice he's there. By the time he figures out what's going on, he's dead. Just like that.
Once again, also much faster than the way I used to do it.
Oh, yep, there you go. There's a dragon. He's just taking it in. All right, you made it past there?
This boss was a little bit of a disappointing one for me. Seeing how big he is and getting into the room and thinking, oh, man, this is going to be an insane fight. And you just got to shoot him with a couple of harpoons and then punch his face.
That's right. Extremely convenient harpoons directed right at him. An easy switch that one person can activate. So it's one of those bosses where the boss fight is by, not dealing direct damage, so to speak. It's more triggering something in the environment or hitting some exact thing that deals most of the damage. He still has to deal the final blow here, but he's not going to have any trouble with that with this homing soul arrow. Boom!
And that was technically Zone 2.
Saint or Bane over here. Of course, we're not going to see any of these characters that you are seeing in these loading screens. We're going fast, but if you play this game, you get to see them. Which I do recommend. I do recommend trying at least one of the Soul games. You don't have to speedrun them.
Oh yeah, it's either, I would say, Demon Souls or Dark Souls. Just give them a try. Even though with this, if online's going off, you don't have to play it for the online aspect of it. Just, they're challenging games, and they're very atmospheric games.
Oh.
That was close.
Yep.
It looked like that one wasn't playing.
I'm surprised he didn't die. Goodness.
That's an unfortunate death.
Yeah. It's a disrespect death. Just breathes on him, falls off. What? No! Yeah, it's pretty cool that we get to do this. There's a speedrunning marathon in Japan, but we get to restream this. Seems like there's a lot of international cooperation with speedrunning right now, which is very cool.
Oh yeah, it's really neat seeing where speedrunning has come in the last couple of years, and being able to help them out like this, and that there's an interest from outside countries or outside viewers of Japan wanting to see these things going on, and I appreciate folks being here. It's really nice to see where the speedrunning community has come.
Yeah, part of it I'd attribute to how good Google Translate and things like that have gotten. It's gotten a lot easier to communicate.
Oh, definitely.
But the interest is definitely there, and it's been growing over the last few years. Darn it, why can't I hit you? Yep, there he goes. Ah, shoot! So there you go, that's why the...
Old Hero, I think, is the name of that one.
I can't remember. He's gone so quickly. But I believe he's a boss that if you did a glitched version, you would skip. Oh. Unfortunate, unintended death.
And yeah. And this is what's called Steve Irwin hell.
Oh no. Too soon? I don't know.
This area, I don't know what the magic being as powerful he's going to even pick it up, but I know there's a sword out here. That the intended mechanic is to get it and just take them all out.
Yeah, but for the speedrun, he's just going to be blasting him with a soul ray. Blasting stingrays with soul rays. Natural enemies. Who will win? It's like shark versus bear. I'm pretty sure one of these rays is Moana's grandmother. Gets brutally murdered in this game. Who knew that this would be her fate? Oh, and right now he's killing these manta rays because the actual boss will not appear until enough of them have died. The boss is kind of up there in the sky, waiting to come down. And there he just casted Cloak. There's different strategies on how to beat this boss. You could try to play it safe and kind of stay back and shoot it from afar. And the other strategy is to come all the way over here. And it's a little bit quicker, a little less safe. Kind of caught a glimpse of the boss up there. Taking their sweet time.
It's incredible how much faster magic makes this, and there's another death. But hey, considering how difficult this game is, and he's walking around at like 1 HP, 3's not bad.
Yeah. This is, I mean, this game is 100% unforgiving. That's why earlier he got hit and I was surprised he didn't die. All right, that was it. He intentionally got hit. He wanted to activate the Clever Rat Ring. Get that 50% extra damage. Allows him to one-shot these mana rays. Oh, God, that was pretty close.
Yeah, it is crazy seeing how close some of these are, and how many of them are direct hits.
Just didn't have cloak activated in time. He was casting it and got stung. That's alright though. I mean, a death here is a lot better than a death in some other places of the game. Which seems kind of, it doesn't seem good, but considering how much time can be wasted in parts of the game by dying, here you just have to start the boss fight over again. In other places, you have to run through the entire level over again. Yes, the invincibility roll strat.
Do you know if I think he lost a decent amount of souls from that first death? Is that gonna play an effect, or is he done leveling?
He's done leveling. He didn't need souls anymore. And that's the thing with this game is when you level up, you get to choose which stat you want to upgrade. And like we were saying before, in case you just joined, the general strategy for this one is to level up your magic stat to really high, get some powerful magic spells, and then become a glass cannon. Stay at low health to get this 50% extra damage, bonus damage multiplier, and use that maxed magic stat with magic spells to one-shot things or two-shot things, kill bosses really quickly. The downside is you die in a single hit in a game where it's easy to get hit by anything. But it is really fast. All right. Excellent. Just like that. I believe there are 2 more stages after this one.
Yes, he still has the False King and I don't remember the one here. I think this is the Knight and the Lady, or I may be thinking of Dark Souls.
To be fair, they're really easy to confuse. Because the game mechanic is the same in all of them, and they have a similar feel to them. But of course, there's people out there who will talk to you very seriously about which game is better than another game, if you wanted to. I think it's a preference thing. Some people like Demon Souls the best, some people like Dark Souls the best, some people like Bloodborne the best.
Yeah, really, it's a fantastic series. For me personally, I like Demon Souls more. That I feel like my first playthrough it was more challenging for me, but I felt that Dark Souls was a better put together game.
Right. It's not for everybody, but it's definitely give it a shot. All right, you get this leech boss who will die promptly. He didn't even use the rat ring multiplier. It's not called the rat ring, but I'm calling it that because it's shorter than its longer name. Don't want to trigger anybody who's sitting there thinking to themselves, hey, that's not the name.
Sometimes you just got to learn to take the criticism and call it what you want. That's what we do in Texas. you had heard my commentary last night of Goemon's Great Adventure, everyone was real upset at how I said the main character, or how I said Ye's name. So I just started calling her every variation that they told me to call her. Again, I'm sorry, with Texas public schools, you just kind of learn to pronounce things as they look.
Yep. I've definitely spent my fair share of time in Texas. You've got Spanish named towns and cities and streets, but you just pronounce them like you would pronounce anything. Like Guadalupe Street.
Guadalupe. Oh yeah, we pronounce them the Texan way. And then sometimes if we can't pronounce it, we'll just make it up. It's a key skill to have in life.
It really is. You just got to go with it. Got to have that confidence. Do your thing. People in chat are telling me it's the Clever Rat's ring. And then somebody else saying that it's the Dull Rat's ring. Who do I believe?
But just the ring that helps you do more damage.
Yep. Right now he's got the plague status on, which is like poison, but much worse. But he also has health regen on right now. So he's losing health a little bit slower than he would be. And he's using this to get into that below 1/3 health sweet spot so that he can have the Clever Rat's ring damage multiplier on. This area is a very convenient place to get to that sweet spot without having to get hit by an enemy. You just pay attention to your health, and then when it reaches where it needs to be, you heal yourself from plague, and then stay there so that this next boss fight, let's see, get past the dudes. Oh man, they don't even care. They just watch them walk by.
Wow. I remember this area being very frustrating casually.
Yeah. I mean, it's confusing too. Like, where do you go?
Yeah, this one, it's a lot more open. Most of these places, well, they may have many diverging paths. At least it's a path to go on. This, with some of the open swamp areas, is not so handholdy.
Right. It's that way in Dark Souls 3. There's a couple spots in Dark Souls 3 where I remember I'm just wandering around thinking to myself, what do I do? And then you get killed by a huge monster. And you're like, okay, well, I got to go back there to grab my souls. And you're trying your hardest not to die, because otherwise you just lose those souls forever. Very punishing. For this boss, he wants to break these little things off his arm. No, he doesn't care. All right. Just going to blast him with that. Okay, see, that arm blocked the attack. So you had to cast again. Homing soul missile, homing spirit, arrows missile. I'm thinking of magic missile. I don't think he has too much more to go. He should be getting pretty close.
Well, he has this boss, and then he has almost the entirety of the first stage. So I think with those deaths, he will be a little behind estimate.
Right. This is a pretty generous time estimate, because I believe the world record on speedrun.com for this game is 54 minutes. Caught the plague. You see how quickly his health is going down? It's going just enough. This is a boss, by the way. If you couldn't tell, you would not be at fault for not realizing that it's a boss. But he definitely just went around the difficult part, went straight to the necessary part, blew it up with magic missile. I'm calling it magic missile now.
Yeah, I think we can go with magic missile. And I think we can also start calling the rat's ring the mouse ring.
Sure, the mouse ring.
This was probably my favorite area through here. with this dragon strafing through. When I was playing on the multiplayer, I invaded a guy, and I got up in one of these towers, and I couldn't find him. I spent a good 5 minutes looking, and I found him cowering in a corner, and he had the dragon at half HP, and I think he was just really mad that he was online, and someone was going to come and kill him after he'd been working on this dragon. And I backed off from him, and then when the dragon came down, I hit the dragon. The guy was like, "Oh, this person's going to help me, cool." And then as soon as the dragon died, I killed the guy. And I felt so smug about myself, and looking back on it, like I don't regret it. It's probably the highlight of my game.
Wow, that kind of changes my opinion of you. I don't know how to feel about that.
I mean, you shouldn't trust people when they're red. But hey, he got the dragon at least.
Yeah, in this section of bridge, normally a dragon comes by. I mean, it's doing it right now. You just can't see it, but a dragon will come by and spray fire to this bridge. But you kind of manipulate where it's going to do it to where you don't get hit by making sure you run and stop and be in certain places while the dragon is in certain places. So you kind of stay on the border. Oh, this boss is going to be over quick, but it has great music. One of the only points in the game that really has any music.
Yeah, it's really only on the bosses, but it's neat that every one of them has something different.
Some people, there's archers on the walls shooting at him while he's fighting this boss. Some people will cast cloak, and the archers will not fire at you, but he was comfortable. He just said to himself, he's wearing the wolf hat. He's saying to himself, "I got this." Blasting away. All the archers are so sad that the boss dies that they also die. Yeah, you can't hear the music, but you can look it up if you want to, or don't. There will be another boss coming up really quickly here if you're at the Speed Gaming 3 stream. If you jump over to the RTA in Japan stream, there's a boss coming up with the same music. It'll be over fast, so you don't get to hear very much, but if you wanted to kind of catch the beginning of it, you can do that. The boss is called the Penetrator.
I think this area has one more boss than the other ones. Yeah, I'm trying to think. All the other ones have 3 bosses, but yeah, this one's at 4.
You saw him just now using the invincibility of the roll to roll right into that flaming ball coming down the stairs. Huh! Invincibility roll!
I really love those dapper executioners.
There's so many things to love. Invincibility roll. I don't care about your fireball. Get out of here. Invincibility roll. Now he took those arrow hits intentionally to get to low HP. Cast cloak, so it's safer to run around all these guys. I mean, same story. You got cloak to get past people. You've got magic missile to do most of the damage on boss, and then you've got the soul ray if you need to do a little bit more to blast him with. But keep in mind, he cannot get hit at all. Now here's the cool music if you catch it with this boss. Might miss it though, because it's over.
This boss coming up was one that I had to cheese strat it every single time. When I first came through here, like I spent so much time, he just constantly killed me. And you can actually, the game has a manual aiming mode where you kind of go into a a first-person shot when you have a bow on, and you can equip. I don't remember what it is, but it's just like it's the non-detection stuff, and you can sit in the very back of the room right when you enter, and then just lob arrow shots and just keep tapping up to aim a little higher. And you don't have to fight them, and that's how you win and be a coward.
And no shame in strats like that. You got to do what you got to do sometimes. Now he's not going to do it now. West, the runner, is not going to do it right now because it's a little slow, maybe. But that's the thing. That's the thing about these games is you play it however you want to play it. You level up the stats you want to level up. You use what you want to use. There's no right or wrong. There's only life and death.
And I think what you're supposed to do here is, I mean, getting around the fire that quickly, I don't think that's fully intended. I don't remember.
No, you're...
Is it an NPC you're supposed to help or something, isn't it?
Yeah, if you have proper movement, you can run through there, but you're not supposed to. You're right. You know, you're supposed to do other things. He throws little glowy balls. The red enemy gets distracted. Hey, what's that? By the time he realizes you're gone, you're already in the elevator. No, I failed my job. Rats.
All right, that's right. Thanks, chat. It's Bjorn of the Twin Fangs will help you out. And I think it's an NPC. You have to talk to him a couple other times, but then he shows up there.
This is a slow elevator, but it gives you time to think about the choices that you've made in your life and this game. It builds up tension before the next boss. Oh, he's running around because you can't enter the portal immediately for whatever reason. And this is the final boss. Old King Allant, or Allant. I say Allant. He's got to be careful though. I mean, definitely one hit kill here. He can do a really quick attack. So he's playing a little safe. There is a quick forward slash he can do that'll kill you immediately. Oh, there it is. Very nice fight. Very quick. The boss was very cooperative.
And then the ending is just a formality. And I guess for bad ending, you just kind of run through and don't even do anything extra.
I believe you kill somebody for the bad ending.
Because you get a choice.
Right. Yeah, there is one more boss. You can form your own assessment. I won't tell you what to think about this boss. Magic Missile! Magic Missile! He didn't say it out loud, but he probably said it in his mind. There it is, the bad ending. In the good ending, you turn around and do a couple more things. In the bad ending, you just slice her, and that's it. That's time. 1:05:37, which, by the way, is only about 10 minutes slower than the best time.
Oh, yeah, very good run from him. A couple of unfortunate things happening, but overall, it was a very, very good run.
Yeah, great run. The most time he lost was on the Manta Ray boss, but it's understandable. He's around health. It's one hit kill all the time. Play this game, see how hard it is, be impressed by his play.
Back to the adorable loading screen. This is my favorite part.
It really is the MVP of this marathon.